Good morning, best friends. Good morning. I am chipper today, coming at you at 9:30 in the morning, and I have been awake for 5 hours. I woke up at 4:30. That was when my alarm was set because CJ was going out of town with his friend and his sister, and they were going to build a roof, like put a roof on a house. And just like as a side thingy, side hustle, he was just gonna put on a roof quick. And so I wanted to make them lunch, so I made them chicken salad sandwiches, but an entire rotisserie chicken literally only made 6 sandwiches. So I was like, okay, I'll make more. So I made some ham sandwiches as well. So now I have just dropped Rosie off at school, made myself a huge coffee, took my first dose of medication for the day, and I am ready to wake up. Girl, I've been so tired. But here we are. We are here together. Here we are. That just reminded me of there without me with you there without me. And then Lizzie McGuire being like, Mom, I think that's about all the combinations of those words you can make, when she's about to leave for Rome. Obviously, you guys know that. I didn't have to explain that. Oh my God. I'm gonna watch that today. I'm gonna make myself watch that today. I don't even care. I'm doing it. Such a good movie, such a classic, cult classic film. I don't care what the critics say. Lizzie McGuire movie is up there with the best of them. It's up there with The Goonies and Misery, I tell you what. All 3 different categories, but all critically acclaimed. Oh my God. So, hi guys, how are we doing? And CJ was like so thankful and so appreciative this morning, and he was just like, thank you for waking up and making us these sandwiches. I really appreciate it. And I was like, literally, I love it because, and here's why, it reminds me of the good old days where he, like when we first moved into our place and we were like so in love, like newly together, and he had a construction job, so he left really early in the morning, and I would wake up in the morning and I would make him his breakfast and I would make him his lunch and I would send him off for the day in his bright yellow sweatshirt, and I would like kiss him, and then I would snuggle up on the couch and I would turn on my fireplace. I would get nice and cozy on the couch and I would watch some kind of true crime or something on the TV for a couple hours before I would officially like wake up and start my day. And that was such a good time in our lives. And it was like this beautiful 3-week period or so before I got really, really sick from my Nexplanon. Which is the birth control that goes in your arm, that I would not recommend to my worst enemy. And I know everybody has their own experience. That's my experience. And whenever I share my experience, people are always like, oh, well, I had a great experience with it, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm going to share my experience. And I'm going to tell everybody I know not to get that one. No matter how many experiences that I hear that are like, oh, it all worked out for me, I would not put anyone through what I went through. So if there's even like a 4% chance that it could happen to somebody else, no. I went through hell for 9 months. No, thank you. So anyway, there was a very brief period that we were newly together, honeymoon phase, in our house, where life was so good before things got really, really bad for a really, really long time. And so when I have to wake up super early and make him lunch and send him off to work, it reminds me of those good old days. And I was just like, seriously, I don't mind. Like, I love waking up and making you food. It's my favorite thing. And apparently, not to brag, but apparently I make really good chicken salad. So If you guys want a recipe, let me know. It's really easy. It's chicken, salt, pepper, and mayo, and big chunks of apples. That's it. So yeah. But it's very good, apparently. It's hard because, like, since I'm vegan, I can't try it. So it's like, is it too salty? Is it not salty enough? Does it have any flavor? Do I need to add more of anything, less of anything? Would it be good if I added a little bit of mustard? Or, like, I can't tell any of those things because I don't try it. So I just have to be like, well, I think that's good. And it's not like from memory, because I've never made chicken salad for myself. That's not something I've ever eaten in my life. So I can't just be like, oh yeah, this is about how much I add of this, and this is about how much I add of this. Like, I don't know. I just have to wing it. But thankfully, I'm a pretty good cook. So I tend not to screw up on most things. There have been a few times that I've made him things that are just far too salty. One of the most recent times was his fault because I was making him shrimp, I think it was, and we had like this Old Bay seasoning, and which is what I call my sugar daddy. I call him Old Bay. But I had this seasoning, or it was some other kind of seasoning like that, and he was like, I want you to load it up on there, like put on so much that you think it's gonna be way too much, and then add more. And I was like, okay. So I did, and it was like inedible. It was so salty and gross. And he was like, you just put so much on. And I was like, because you said load it up, put so much on, and then add more. And so I did. I put like half the freaking can on there, I swear. But yeah, I've always been a really, I'm not trying to brag, and I'm not saying I'm like a freaking Michelin chef, but I have always been a really, really good cook, and extremely good at coming up with good meals out of nothing. And that comes from my mom, because she grew up poor, like very poor. And so she often had, like, you know, to make something tasty and delicious out of, you know, not very many ingredients or super cheap ingredients. And so I think she's really good at that. But it's funny because she said that about me and said, like, I really admire that about you. Like, you try new recipes, you put new things together that you've never had before, you come up with things that are, you know, so good out of whatever you have left in your cupboard. And I really admire that, and I wish I was more like that. And it's funny because I think I got that from her, but she does not agree. But anyway, that's a huge ass pontoon. Looks fun. What's your number? Anyway, so yeah, I am very resourceful, and I'm really good with coming up with yummy meals. And then it also comes from just being honest. When I was poor, when I was a broke bee, and we had no money for like a solid 3 or 4 years, 5 years, who knows, who's keeping track, not me, but for all those years we had like no money, and we would have periods of time even where we would get food like from food shelves and stuff, and we don't have very many options when it comes to, you know, what you can get from the food shelf. So there were times where we'd get ingredients and I'd be like, okay, what can I do with barley, a can of mixed vegetables, and Cajun seasoning, and like what other 3 things I can find in the fridge that are about to expire, like, and I would just make something really good. And so whenever people say like I can't cook or whatever, it just kind of confuses me, because I'm like, if anything, like if you're not a good like scratch cook, at least like you can follow a recipe, right? Like it just, I don't know, I feel like cooking is so easy. Where it gets tricky is baking. And a lot of people say like, oh, I'm either a good cook or I'm a good baker, but I'm not a good cook or a good baker. Like they're one or the other. And I've never been that way. I've always been a good baker too. I think when I went vegan, it became more iffy as to if it was going to turn out, because baking vegan is just different. Baking is science. It's straight up science. And so I feel like I was really good at baking when it was like conventional eggs and, you know, stuff like that. But then once you start being vegan and you don't cook that stuff anymore, it's like, you know, instead of eggs, you either use oatmeal or, almond, my throat's like bubbling right now. You use applesauce, you use yogurt, you use flax seeds mixed with water, you use an egg replacement. Like there are so many different things, and you're like most of the time trying to replicate something that has eggs in it with no eggs. And so it's just more difficult. So it's like 50-50 whether or not my desserts will turn out now. And honestly, most of that I don't think is my fault. I think it's just like weird recipes that I've used, but I'm a really good baker still as well. Like whenever people try my baked goods, they're always just like, I can't believe this is vegan, or oh my God, this is like the best chocolate chip cookie I've ever had, or whatever. So I think that I'm a good baker and a good cook. That being said, I'm not the best ever in the world. I do have a lot to learn, I'm sure. And I love learning new recipes and new techniques and stuff. So yeah, it's something I enjoy. But here, let me actually, I want to park in the back because I'm going to probably film a little video. Oh, park over here by the flowers. But yeah, I'm just at Walmart now. I have a few things that I have to get because I'm out of salad stuff. I think I already said this, I'm not sure. But I'm out of salad stuff and I need some Celsius. The best place to get Celsius is Costco, but I'm not about to go to Costco right now. So I'm just gonna run into Walmart and get it here. So yeah, we've been out of Celsius for like a few days, maybe a week. It's been a long time, okay? I deserve some C, some vitamin C, Celsius. I could also use some vitamin C, as in like the sea, the ocean, the salt water. Very soon, I'm sure, very soon. But anyways, I just wanted to say hi and, you know, catch up with you for a minute. I am so tired still, but feeling good. I'm feeling good in my YouTuber apology hoodie, my gray, with the gray tea underneath, gray on gray. I'm drinking JAVY. And I thought I might film an ASMR video in my car, so I brought the JAVY just to include it because I always like to mention it. This is a completely empty bottle now. That's the one that I used the last of today. So I have an affiliate code with JAVY. I always link it down below. You get 20% off, I think, if you use my code, and then I get a small percentage of like a commission or whatever if you buy through my link. It's just an affiliate link, like your standard thing. It's never sponsored, but it's always there. And yeah, but anyway, I guess I better head into Walmart, but I wanted to say hello and good morning, and I love you and I miss you. And yeah, I'll talk to you again very soon. If you made it to the end of this video, what emoji should you put down below? Say hey. Maybe that emoji that's like raising their hand, but I view it as like hey. Put the hey emoji down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.